college football Saturday, West Virginia and Iowa State. If you look at the score, Iowa State wiped the floor with them. 42-6. Brock Purdy, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns. Iowa State pretty much dominating every facet of the game, and they're on the verge of potentially winning their first Big 12 title in like 100 years is what I saw on ESPN today. So, Joe, I'm curious to get your reflection on this. West Virginia is not a bad football team. So how would you evaluate Iowa State right now? I mean, obviously they're not in the playoff conversation, but they could win a New Year's Six game.
No. Well, I don't want to say I'm still skeptical about the playoff situation this year. Because, I mean, I know a lot of people want it to be expanded this year because it's 2020,
Yeah.
Don't think it happens, but I am one of those people that want it to happen. And if it did, that'd be great. Iowa State would then be a playoff team. Probably. They'd be maybe one off, honestly. But look, Iowa State, I mean, they clearly have been playing, great football. Their win against Texas and OU were the biggest, and losing to Oklahoma State by 3 isn't as bad of a loss as some people would think it would be. The one thing that, would concern me about Iowa State is, they woke up too late.
Yeah.
And also losing to Louisiana, that's not good in any situation.
I mean, and Louisiana had high expectations coming into the year,
but that they got ranked. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they got ranked because they beat Iowa State. But the big thing here, look, I mean, they beat Oklahoma, which is obviously a good win. Barely lost to Oklahoma State, and then they beat Texas a couple weeks ago. And Texas, of course, very streaky team. The issue with them is they just don't have a signature win against it. I don't even think they've beaten a team while they were ranked. Playoff isn't getting expanded, so I just don't see any way in for them, especially given the sheer amount of one-loss SEC teams or undefeated SEC teams, and then Clemson and then Notre Dame. Like, I think that there's no way into the top 4, but I do think that this Iowa State team could play in one of the New Year's Six games that isn't the playoffs and potentially get a signature win for the program. I mean, Iowa State football hasn't been this relevant in years. So you have to give credit to Brock Purdy and his coaching staff, because, I mean, Purdy's had a phenomenal season at quarterback, and they've won a lot of big games. So, I mean, even though maybe they're not going to take the next leap, I think this is a huge step for that program, Joe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, well,
I don't see it going for the next 2 years, though.
Yeah, and also I think Purdy might be a senior. He's either a junior or senior. So that probably doesn't help their future prospects. I don't know what their quarterback depth chart's like, but I didn't hear about any 5-star recruit going to Iowa State for quarterback.
I mean, they're good, but I don't know what – it's hard to take away, key points this season, because it's such a weird season. I mean, OU – yeah, they're hopefully going to, develop Rattler into a good quarterback. I hope they don't, because and then Texas, I mean, they're supposed to be good, but they're not. Next year, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think anyone does, because I think the best way to look at next year is to skip this year in a way, except for looking at the roster, because this year made no sense in college football for a lot of it. I mean, 8 games is not enough to judge. This is for the Big Ten, honestly. 8 games is not enough to judge how good a team is, honestly.
Facts.
And I mean, a lot of the good opponents people have played have been in the non-conference games for the most part, the Big 12. I mean, you got Oklahoma for the most part. Oklahoma State last year, I don't even think was ranked for the majority of the season.
Yeah, I think they broke into the lower half of the top 25, but I don't think they were anything significant.
Baylor was surprising, but they're not going to be good for a while now because I think Mims was kind of the big thing on that team.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And
but like
obviously Nat Rule's gone there.
their off-season schedule, their non-conference schedule like included an SEC team most of the time, and like someone from the Big Ten. It didn't this year. I mean, I'm not gonna like look at the season as like a reflection for the years to come on these teams because I mean honestly teams could flip flop after the season just on how weird the season is.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it'll be a notable season for Iowa State in program history. Maybe they win a New Year's Six game. I don't know why I keep pronouncing it like that. Maybe they win one of those and it becomes a signature win for the program. But I just don't think that it's gonna. I mean, I think that hopefully one day, if you're an Iowa State fan, they will recruit even better and build a team even better than this and potentially challenge for say the top four, top eight. If it's an 18 playoff by that time. So like I think it's something that you kind of like you highlight as a part of your history and you like revere and a team you like really respect, but I don't think it's anything where you're going to be talking about the 2020 Iowa State Cyclones football team 10 years down the line. If
Let me
you're
tell you,
not a
Sonny,
big
back in
football.
my day, the 2020 Iowa State Cyclones were. Let me tell you, they blew me away.
They were rolling. They were rolling.
They
Brock
were
Purdy
wrong.
and the crew.
Now they didn't make the playoffs, and they sucked the rest of the time after that. But like, 2020, let me tell you, best year ever.
All right, Joe. I think we've exhausted Iowa State. Now your
Yeah.
favorite. BYU Coastal Carolina is currently going on. It's 22-17 Coastal Carolina.
Mhm.
Joe's been a big proponent of BYU being ranked pretty highly. Joe, I don't know how much of this game you've watched. I've watched quite a bit. I'm going to give my opinion on it in a second. Do you change your tune on BYU getting into the playoff if they win this game? If they lose, obviously they're not getting in. But if they win this game, do you say okay, it's ugly? They weren't that good against a Coastal Carolina team that isn't bad, but certainly isn't playoff caliber, or do you say it's a win against the top 25 team? And are you still bullish on that stance?
Look, a win's a win.
Okay.
A win's a win.
Yeah.
Now, this is a good win for BYU if they can,
Come back
pull
in.
through with it.
Yeah.
The problem is they're losing right now in the fourth.
And they're on 3rd and 26 on their own 30.
Yeah. Like, if BYU did win, I think they'll probably get into the top 10 on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Most likely. That was. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the play by play right now, and BYU just ran it for 9 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Not
good.
looking encouraging.
Yeah, but like, I mean, they're not going to make the playoffs with this win alone.
Yeah.
And what is
They
this,
would
their
need
last
help.
game? Right?
Yeah, I mean they would need help.
Yeah. But they could definitely, I could see them getting top 10, which would be good for the team.
Okay.
I mean, at this point in the season, honestly.
I think at this point, regardless of what happens in this game, BYU's out. Even if they run the table and finish the season undefeated, Joe, I hate to break it to you, but they're just ranked too low. Personally, I watched this. I don't think either of these teams is a top 4 team. Zach Wilson is an incredible quarterback. Don't get me wrong; his numbers are insane. Yes, he's played a soft schedule, but is not. But I mean, he's you can't. I mean, look, however many thousand yards and 35 touchdowns is that. Like, you can't fault that. What I am saying though is I watch both teams, and right, like Coastal Carolina isn't known for its fearsome national defense. I think its defense is respectable, especially in the context of the Sun Belt. But I don't know, right? I think the best teams, the top 4 teams, would be able to dismantle a team like Coastal Carolina. No disrespect. The Sun Belt's a good football conference. Coastal Carolina is a good football team with a good quarterback and a great system, and they're undefeated as well, and they deserve the credit for that. But I think if you put Alabama against them, you put Clemson against them, Notre Dame against them, it wouldn't be close at the end of the game. So I think that for me, at least, the fact BYU is struggling with them Even if they do pull it out, I think the committee looks at this game and they're like, okay, the minute they played top 25 caliber competition, they folded a bit, or they weren't at the level that we saw them against, say, a Houston or other fringe Power Five teams they played this season. So, Joe, I'm curious what your take is on that, because obviously you're a big Zach Wilson fan. I like Zach Wilson as well, but you've been bigger and more bullish on BYU than me.
Sorry, I was not paying attention to what you were saying.
I was just saying that I just don't think, regardless of this, they're a top 4 team.
No. I mean, this is gonna probably. I think I saw this on the schedule, but it's probably gonna go into should Ohio State be in the playoffs if they can't complete 6 games?
Yeah.
My answer is gonna be quick on that. No.
Yeah.
Like, would I want to see them in the playoffs? Yeah, like, give them a chance. After this game, slightly less.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I watched the first half, and look, it was Zach Wilson. It's easily been Zach Wilson's worst game all year, for a fact. But the fact that this team is struggling against a Coastal Carolina team that is good and has a lot of talent, but would not be put in any top 4 conversation anywhere in the country outside of Conway, South Carolina. And even I don't know if they do it. For me, I just don't see the path for BYU. And also, right, if you're a top 4 team, I think you go into this game and comfortably dismantle a Coastal Carolina team. So, Joe,
I could see, honestly, is if everyone below them took a loss.
Yeah.
Except for like Alabama and Notre Dame. Everyone else took a loss, and that could probably get them close, but maybe not close enough.
I don't see any path, personally.
Close and losing one more game, they're out, honestly.
Well, yeah, of course. But I mean, Coastal Carolina is 18th, Joe. They have maybe 3 weeks.
Are we talking Coastal Carolina or BYU?
I thought if you're talking BYU, it's the same deal. I think there's just too many teams above them.
Well, they're closer, so but yeah.